4, 3, 2, 1. It's time to count down reality TV's most talked about moments with Amanda Bella. Hey everybody, welcome back to Bella Talks TV. It's Amanda Bella here, coming to you on truly the most beautiful, crisp, but also kind of warm, cozy, but also just that gritty New York feeling of a Monday. Feels so good to just be here and be with you guys and be with Candy. We got Candy here. I mean, as you guys know, I can't really get through an episode without her making an appearance. Oh my God, what an angel. We went on a little bit of an adventure this weekend. One of my best friends from Michigan, she is in town, and Candy and I decided to go stay over and have a sleepover with one of my friends this weekend. And it was so fun. Just three gals hanging out. So yeah, we had a fun, exciting weekend, and I'm getting ready to go to Las Vegas this weekend, and I'm going out there for a couple different things, but one main reason why I'm going is that I'm going to the When We Were Young Music Festival, which the first year was a little fire festy. I think it ended up having to get canceled the first day, and then maybe the second day pulled off, and then the second year was just last year. Like, this year is now the third year of this festival, but I say third like in quotes because I'm not really sure, how legit it has been. But it is, if you're an elder emo girl like me, then it would knock your socks off to go. The lineup is insane. It's like The Used, Taking Back Sunday, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, Saves the Day, Senses Fail. The list goes on and on. So if you were somebody who listened to that type of music in high school and college like I did, I'm really looking forward to going. And my little crossover with this is that the emo night music, so there's emo night, which is, it all gets very confusing here. So roll with me. You guys can use the timestamps, jump ahead if you don't want to hear the intro here and hear me just randomly babble. So we listen to all these bands. The crossover here is that on Vanderpump Rules, Ariana, Katie, and Sheena have been known to participate in these emo nights. And that is a night where it is just a DJ that plays emo music. So it's not bands playing, but they are friends. Like, I believe the original DJs of Emo Night, which has now been expanded into a group of DJs that like tour all over the country and do these emo nights. But the specific ones in LA, the original guy, I think his name is Morgan. He is apparently friends with Sheena, knows Ariana, knows all of them, and has been involved. He's been on Vanderpump Rules. If you go back and watch those episodes where they do the emo nights, he's in there. So I'm going to see him specifically, the emo night DJ, on Thursday or Friday night, some day this week in Las Vegas. And that's like the pre-party to the When We Were Young Music Festival. So, I mean, I don't know if any of the VPR girlies are going this weekend. I've been kind of trying to stalk Ariana. Sheena and Ariana are not close right now, so I don't think that they would be like going to this fest together. But I could see a world where Katie and Dana are going because they seem pretty heavily involved. For a hot second, it kind of seemed like Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit was dating Katie or just hanging out with her frequently. Maybe they just had like a little quick, romance. But unclear. It was never confirmed or denied or anything. Just the Reddit streets were talking. But so we decided to do that pre-party. Now again, I feel like if anybody's going to show up, it's either going to be Katie and Dana or it's going to be Sheena separately. Because I don't think that Katie and Sheena are friends either anymore. Because Katie and Lala definitely are not on good terms. And Sheena and Katie, I mean, I'm assuming Sheena still has Lala's back, even though I don't see them being together that much either. I mean, honestly, like, who is hanging out? Like, is VPR going to get canceled? Oh my gosh, that kind of is, a little segue into what else I did this weekend, which was go and see the one and only DJ James Kennedy. I only knew about him being in town and playing like a few days before I went. So maybe I found out on like Tuesday or Wednesday. And then we went on Saturday. And I really wasn't sure if I was going to go. Like, there's something about how, like, almost the lore of it is better than actually doing it. Like, sometimes I fly too close to the sun, and then you find out that it's really, like, wasn't as great as you built it up to be in your mind. And so I had been wanting to see James live for so long, especially because last year at BravoCon in Vegas, James played one night, and there were a bunch of Bravo influencers going, and I had kind of been in touch and kind of like tried to like invite myself along to like go, and it was never really like confirmed or anything. Like, I knew they were going, and if I probably would have like been more assertive and annoying and like shameless, I probably should have been able to go and like hang out with them all, but I didn't. I went to a different thing and just didn't even go. So ever since then, though, basically, I felt like he was like elusive to me, and he like slipped through my fingers, and I'm like, I need to see James Kennedy's. So he, a couple things ran through my mind. I'm like, okay, he's playing this place. It's $30. I'm gonna go and just like stand in the corner, and I know about myself that I do love live music, and there's nothing that I love more than like to go to the club or go to a show, or go to a music festival. Like, I live for it, but I couldn't justify, I mean, I'm getting older and certain things I have to set out now. And I'm like, you know what? I just felt called to go. Actually, Ryan Bailey made this hilarious meme that if you get the Broad City reference, it says, in declare be all fam. And that is something that we used to quote all the time because we used to, me and my friends are big club goers. So just being in the club and being somebody who is this, it is what it is. Like, different things. Some people like dive bars. Some people like house parties. Some people don't drink. Some people, it's like, whatever. Pick your like path in life, and don't yuck someone else's yum for like what they like. But okay, so yeah, James Kennedy, I kind of had a feeling, it is NYC club life. I wasn't sure what to expect. I was definitely one of the older people there. I was definitely probably one of the only married people there. It was a young crowd. The girls were girling. I made it up on a balcony at least, which was great to be off the floor. The floor was packed. I mean, there was lots of young guys too, which is interesting. I'm sure it's probably like girls that wanted to go, and then we're like, okay, guys, if you want to go out with us tonight, then this is where we're going and you're coming, because I couldn't imagine that if the club was 50-50, that 50% of the men there watch Vanderpump Rules. It just wasn't a VPR crowd. So that was a really good experience. So we get it there, we get on the balcony, finally the opening DJ stops playing, and just all of a sudden the Vanderpump Rules theme started and confetti, and it was good. And of course, I'm looking around scoping for any Reveleb. I'm looking for Andy. I'm looking for Ariana. I'm looking for anybody that I thought was going to show up there. But the only person I saw that was there that was somewhat related was, of course, which I'm actually feel like I've been so overexposed. No shade though, Brad. Like, good for you. But Ariana's best friend, Brad, like, he's always everywhere. He was definitely there. But the streets were talking that Allie, I kept making jokes all night being like, Allie Bally. But she, I don't think, was there. There were no signs of her, no signs of life. And I heard that she and James might be over. I read a thing online that was like, well, it would be an easy split because they don't have any assets. They don't have anything truly, to worry about. And then, no marriage, no kids, whatever. Looks like they kind of like are pretty independent. And then on top of that, it was very clear to me, allegedly, that Allie was not really that into James and that she was just using him to be on the show to further her career. Maybe she was like, okay, I like him enough to like be in a relationship with him. But I think people underestimate exactly how... I've forgotten wearing my fake freckles, you guys, my whole new personality. If you're looking on the YouTube, you can see. And I just don't believe that they were ever going to be end game. I think that she was just thinking short term. Okay, let me just like do this now, see what happens. Obviously, when a guy like likes you more than you like them, like it feels good too to have a guy like doting on you. So maybe she was like, okay, like this guy does treat me good and makes me feel special, and I'm on this show, and I'm sure it's all very enamoring. So there have been no confirmations that they have broke up or anything like that, but just she hasn't been seen with him in a while, and the fact that VPR is not filming, I mean, the longer you go without getting like the reward for your punishment, if you're dating James to be on the show, but the show doesn't exist anymore, how long are they going to stay together? So, just some things I was thinking about with DJJK this weekend. 10 out of 10 recommend to go see him. I wrote it online, worth the hangover, worth the money, worth like the cheesiness of it. Just, you know, you got to just do things in life that are going to make you happy. Like, what else do we do? You know, so, okay, so that was DJ James Kennedy. That was so fun. I have my hair appointment tomorrow, and I mean, my hair guy is so great. Like, you know, New York hair does not mess around. Like, do you guys remember when last season of New Jersey of RHONY, there was like hair extension wars going on with like the girls, and Jenny was like, that's just etiquette I wouldn't do to my hair, girl. Stuff like that. Like, my mom does hair. Hair and hair culture and hair salons and all of these things have always just been like a big part of my life. And it's ironic because I don't really like have my own hair, like, you know, just being vulnerable with you guys, that I just have always struggled with hair and hair growth, and like it was not alopecia. I mean, I've never had my hair like falling out like that. It's just like never grown. And so I have a few different autoimmune diseases and things that could be related to it. But so I get hair extensions in my hair. I get what they call like keratin bonds, and they aren't the big weaves that the girls, when they talk about like the weaves, you know, I don't have that where it's like sewn onto your head. I have just little pieces that are like glued in. I wash my hair like normal. I style my hair like normal. I don't really tend to overdo it. I still always wanted to just look very natural, and it's giving me a lot of confidence, and I'm very lucky that I'm able to, you know, it's a luxury in life. It's not cheap. It's not affordable. I was going to say it's not affordable. I would definitely put it in the luxury category. And it's something that I had to think about for a very long time. You know, certain things you invest in. And just telling you all this because I have an appointment tomorrow. And in lieu of this, I've been so inspired by the Mormon Wives getting their season 2 on Hulu. And they have all been posting a lot of new content together, promoting the new show. As soon as they were able to probably go online and start yapping about it, Hulu probably was like, get to the talk and get on there and start telling people that season 2 is coming. And so there's been a lot of drama surrounding that, lots of rumors, lots of things that have gone down in the off season already. I can't wait for this. One of the polarizing characters that I've seen, it's pretty easy to tell like who is liked and who is not liked on the show. In the liked section, I would put Demi. I would put Jen Affleck. I mean, I don't know actually if she's in the middle. I mean, people like Macy, people like Demi, people like Taylor Frankie Paul. People do not like Whitney. People are on the fence, I think, about Jessie, which breaks my heart. I think Jessie is so down and real and authentic. I mean, do we need to remind you guys all the things she showed us in season 1? Like, she's essential to this. So I really hope that the fandom is different when it comes to this show that with Bravo shows, and we don't get to this thing where we're like, oh, fire this person, or like everybody is constantly trying to like rally people against and like creating these teams. I mean, we do have saints and sinners, but I think what's fun about Mormon Wives is that it's not everybody against one person, and it's not clear alliances and stuff. It feels like the dynamic can shift, and we're gonna have to like wait and see. But when I get my hair done tomorrow, I am getting rid of these platinum blonde locks that I have been rocking at least for the last 2 years, because I started going like platinum blonde again in preparation for my wedding. I wanted to make sure, you know, if you guys are not natural blondes, you'll understand the struggle that when you tell somebody you want to be blonde, it takes a long time. So it's a hard decision when you do decide to be like, okay, I want to like go darker again, because it's taken a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of, you know, maintenance on these locks to get them blonde. But I felt so inspired by all of the girls especially through Jay-Z Styles and Jessie's salon. I see her, I follow her, and all these girls that just have a little bit darker blonde, they call it blonde, that are just like these blonde. I actually want more bronze of a blonde. I want to go more of a coppery gold. yellow, brown, caramel, and less ashy and less, you know, like this hair is so white. Like you guys can't even really tell, but it's white. And I'm just like, how did I get here? So, all right. So that is going to be my hair journey. Stay tuned to see how that comes next week. And shout out to all the Mormon Wives and congratulations again on season 2. And okay, so I think that's all pretty much it for the beginning of the show. I'm going to be also a standby virtual caller on Watch What Happens Live tomorrow, who will be Uba. So again, I didn't get a confirmed slot, but I'm supposed to know by tomorrow afternoon if I'm going to be getting to go on or not. They provide you with the question. I was going to be on last week and then something happened. And then, actually, you know what happened was someone was sick. Someone was sick and someone else had to Mary Cosby. It was Whitney. So because Whitney was sick and Mary Cosby got put in last minute, I think that was when I was going to be on and they like switched it up. So, okay. So I'm so excited for that. We'll see if I'm going to be on Watch What Happens Live. And then, yeah, just any last minute people that are thinking about going to the Miami Fan Fest, let me know. Like DM me if you have questions. If you're curious about what like these Bravo events are like, if you think it's worth it, I mean, I'll try to give you guys all the information. I'm definitely going and I'm excited. I'm so excited. And I've been DMing with Bronwyn from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And she's totally approved me dressing up like her. I know that this sounds like a crazy idea, but it's not. I'm going to do the leopard outfit with the boots and the puffer, and it's going to be cute. And hopefully that will just give me some good pictures and be able to help me get some good content. Okay, yeah, so that's that. I think that we'll move into my top 5 countdown of the week. Okay, welcome back to Bella Talks TV. Again, this is Amanda Bella here. If you guys aren't following me on social media at Bella Talks TV, I have been TikToking up a storm. And it's funny because now I get confused when I go to do the podcast because I feel since I've been doing more videos of me talking about things in between the podcast, I go to do the podcast and I'm like, wait, I already feel like I talked about this. So I'm going to have to start getting used to having all these different platforms and things going on because your girl's not going to get left behind. I saw something the other day about just I can't even remember what it was truly about. Something just about the way that generations are with technology and kind of like getting left behind. And it resonated with me and I started to panic that I was getting left behind. And every once in a while I have these little moments. I was really glad that I was able to get my shit together enough to figure out TikTok. And I'm like loving it over there. It's been so... One thing I've learned is that on Instagram I don't get any engagement. Which is really sad. And all of my following has pretty much just came from like one section of videos and like reality TV clips that I've posted. So I don't know what that says about me or I think I was starting to get really discouraged and feel really shitty about the fact that I was working so hard on my content and the Instagram people were just like not having it. I don't know. I feel like nothing ever like hits the algae. And so I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I've never made a single dollar from this. I don't do this for work. Like this is, for over a year now, something that I've been putting myself into because I just truly love to do it. And so it was just starting to get discouraging. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me just spend some time to really put the effort into learn TikTok. And now I'm over there and I'm getting so many comments that like, I actually can't read them because it's overwhelming and they're not good. They're not always great. And that actually, now I've learned what it's like. Like I've always heard so many people talk about like, it's like with press, no such thing as bad press. Like no such thing as like bad engagement. Like you want clicks, you want the views anyway. You want the comments even if they're bad. And I just wasn't getting anything before. So I was still indifferent to it. And I just kept kind of plugging away, not really ever getting good. I would get good feedback. I can't say that. Like the people that have been supportive have been so supportive. And I really appreciate them reaching out to me and telling me to keep going. But the TikTok community is just way more like, I would say it's a mixture of them. They're just ready to comment. They're ready to be like, they're ready to disagree. They're ready to be like, I had people straight up telling me that I should delete things because I made them up. That there's no proof to things and stuff that I had to eventually make like rebuttal videos for because I do have proof. It was just like, okay, this is like a whole different beast over here, but I am enjoying it. So please go follow me on TikTok and get into the mix with me. I'm going to be trying to keep it up over this festival this weekend, but it's going to be so fun. Dashboard Confessional, like that's one of Sheena's favorite bands, and Chris Carrabba, the lead singer of Dashboard Confessional, was one of the only musicians that she's ever had on her podcast Shenanigans. Oh my goodness gracious, so many things tie us back, like all roads lead back to Bravo. So yeah, let's get back to the countdown. I realize I haven't done my OMG and LOL of the week yet, and I'm trying to like really do a fast episode here, so let's just touch in really fast. My OMG of the week is the Jersey Shore, like the real drama that's going over on Jersey Shore. So I think, again, I talked about how in the season premiere, I had predictions that producers went to them and they were like, you guys, this has been going on since 2009. Like, we are going to need more from everybody because we're living in a different world now. You know, maybe they weren't getting the views from the millennials anymore, and the Gen Zers don't know them and don't care about them. So they're trying to get us reeled back in. They brought Sam and Ronnie back. They were like, okay, we are not messing around here. They have everybody really through the ups and downs of their relationships, but some of them have been able at hiding their issues better than others. Say like, we know everything that goes on with Angelina, right? Shares it all, bears it all. Mike the situation, goes to prison, goes to rehab, writes a book, all this stuff, having kids on, going through all of that stuff. And then we have people like Snooki, where it's like, okay, is there just nothing there? Or does she just never share anything about the struggles maybe that it is to be with Gianni, or like what it was like marrying somebody at the peak of reality TV, and like they just don't ever show any of that or her home life or anything. So I think that that's kind of lame. This season they have her doing, searching for her birth parents. We talked about how she's adopted, blah, blah, blah. So again, I'm not trying to rehash everything here. I'm just kind of trying to say, like, some of them really show at all what's going on in their life now, and then some of the members have to manufacture storylines. And another person that's like this is Jenny. Jenny has given us so much. I mean, a true queen and a pioneer in reality TV. I mean, I'm obsessed with her. I really am. I think that JWoww is just... she is like a quintessential reality TV star. And I've always supported her. And when she went through her divorce with Roger, that she shared it all on there too. And then she was talking about how Grayson and how he's on the spectrum. So she has a son on the spectrum, a crazy divorce text. Like, she has shown us a lot too. So I think they gave her a break for a little while. Like, everybody kind of got like a break for a few years. But then with that, we know ratings go down. And I think they came to Jenny this year and they were like, all right, you and Zach, 24, her boyfriend, who must be like 28 now. It's like, they're not getting married. Jenny said she's like never getting married ever again. So, which I kind of don't blame her. Zach too, like, who knows? Again, she's never shared that anything's ever happened there, but he could totally be like some kind of gold digger. He's a young boy. Like, what does he want to be with like Jenny that has 2 kids and like, so who knows if he's like legit anyway. After $1 Million Listing, Tracy Tudor got cheated on by her little personal trainer boyfriend. I don't trust like any of these 20-year-old men dating any of these women on Bravo. I don't trust them. So I think they came to JWoww and they were like, girl, you got to stir some stuff up this season. If you're not going to share, you got to get in the mix. And so Jenny's storyline so far this season is that she follows Vinny's social media and then listens to his podcasts and then potentially his stand-up comedy, and then brings what he says to like a little bone collector, brings everything to the group and tells them if he makes a joke about them or if he makes any content that plays off of like the Jersey Shore people. And at first I was like, wow, messy boots. I mean, I think she's really stretching here. But then I started to really think about it, and I kind of think that she's coming from a good place with this. Like, so Vinny is he kind of like grosses me out. I mean, and I'm sorry, Vinny, if you're listening. I'm sure you love Bella Talks TV, but I think that he is a perfect example and a specimen of what it is like to be a 37-year-old man. And if you're a 37-year-old woman, these are the types of men that you're going to see out there. if they're a man that has never been married and doesn't have kids and they're approaching this age, I'm generalizing. I realize there are unicorns, but something's going on. And I think that with Vinny, he's a self-proclaimed sex addict, porn addict. He just prioritizes the wrong things in relationships, and he's been out there just chasing ass all these years, and now everybody's married, and I think he really wants to settle down, but I don't think he's able to like break this character so easy. This has been who he has been since the beginning, and I do think it's a defense mechanism for him. You know, it's obviously overcompensating for something, and I think that he is scared to not lean on that as like a crutch of his personality. So Jenny's calling it out. She's like, you know what, Vinny, we're all sick of you making disgusting sex jokes. We're sick of you talking about sex and women the way that you do. We're sick of you making fun of all of us and all of our past transgressions on the shows and using them as content for your comedy and your podcast. Like, leave our names out of your mouth when we're not filming. And I'm here for it. It really had my jaw on the floor. It was my OMG moment of the week. Like, it just kept building more and more. Like, it went from a meme that he posted to the podcast to all these things. And she had beef. She had beef with him. So this is always my plea, to make sure you're keeping up with Jersey Shore, keep these people on TV. I mean, they came to play this season, and I want the ratings to reflect that, so that they will hopefully continue to share things with us. And, you know, like I've talked about before, these people are like brothers and sisters to me. So I don't want them to disappear into the vortex, then we never hear or see from them again. So support your local Jersey Shore show on MTV. There's a bunch of other real drama going on in the show. I can't even talk about it. I could probably spend an hour talking about Jersey Shore. So let's move right over into my LOL moment of the week, which is another good show that just premiered that we're only on the first episode of, that is all about past reality TV stars trying to actually not break character, but about past reality TV stars that are trying to lean into their character and lean into their villain. So House of Villains has premiered on, actually I watched it on Bravo. I think it's E or a Peacock show, unclear, but go watch it where you can watch it, House of Villains. And I'm going to just talk about a few characters and of course the exact LOL moment of the week. So the moment that really had me laughing, lolling, and I was shocked. Not that she isn't funny, but it was Teresa Giudice. It was TRE. And I was excited to see her on a different platform, in a different environment, with a different cast. I don't hate any housewives. I don't hate any of them. Even the ones that I'm like, I do believe that the ones that I about the most, the ones that are just like not my girlies, that in the right environment, in the right whatever, not edited, they probably are all great. So maybe not Ramona. Maybe Ramona even. If Ramona thought that I was like rich, if that's how she is. Like, if you're rich and you're hot and what she thinks that she can get, that she's going to love you. So again, like I said, not everyone's going to have the same experience with everybody. And it's really up to people to make their own assessments on others. And that's why this show is important, because it's all these different villains getting together and like sussing each other out. And so the first person into the house is Richard Hatch, which is, they say, the number one like most hated villain in reality TV. I knew that he wasn't liked. I knew he was a cutthroat Survivor player, and people didn't like him because he was naked and making everybody uncomfortable. This was a long time ago. I didn't know that he was gay. So when he revealed that in the beginning of the episode, I was like, holy shit, and he's gay? Like, he's a legend. He's just a gay icon then. So I'm actually excited to watch Richard Hatch, and I'm wondering if he's going to lean again into his villainry, or if he's actually here to rehab a little bit and to show people that he's not the biggest piece of shit ever, and that he's actually can be likable in the right setting. Now, the next person that walks in is Teresa. And when her limo pulls up and she starts to get out, I like this about the part about this show is they're all mic'd, and the producers have decided to leave in kind of like them talking to themselves or to the drivers or to whoever as they're getting out of the limo and walking into the house. It's a little peek like into their psyche. And Teresa pulls up and is already asking questions and is already like wanting to know what's going on. And she gets out and she is dressed Jerseylicious. I don't know how these women walk around in like Louboutins or like platform Versace heels all day long. And she does say later that her feet are killing her. So it's like, okay, great. At least they're in pain. At least they're not magical somehow. I don't get it. Like, I wear sneakers. I wear like Birkenstock clogs most of the time. And I even bought these disgusting looking Skechers that are like rubber because they're comfortable. Like, I am a comfort girly, so I only put a heel on if I'm going to an event. I guess if I was going to be on TV, though, maybe beauty would be pain. But she gets out of the house. She's walking in. We're already laughing. Just at the sight of her, you start laughing because she's so ridiculously look. She just looks crazy. She walks in. She's meeting Richard Hatch, and she has no idea who he is. Of course, there's no way that she was going to do any research and kind of like, have anybody consult her on, hey, these are people that might be there and these are things you should know and maybe you should take an interest. No, she's just showing up raw dogging. And right away, Richard is like, oh, do you know who I am? And she's like, no, I don't. And he's like, oh, well, I'm Richard Hatch and all this stuff. And he kind of goes into his history about being a gay man on Survivor, just what it was like then. And she's like, oh, and her first question for him is if he's a top or a bottom. And as taken back as I think he was, he's honest. He's open and honest. And he's like, well, I'm a bottom. And she goes, oh, so do you do poppers? And I think it is funny. And your initial reaction is to lol, because what else can you do in life? But it was horrifying, actually. I was horrified. I couldn't, and I am wondering how many of them she's walking around and asking, like how many gay men she's meeting and asking about their popper regimens, and their sexual preferences. But I think her intentions were right in the fact that she is an ally and that she actually was curious and that she isn't judging him on his answer or anything. She just is making small talk and also trying to show him that she has an interest in him and that she's like an ally. I'm going to just keep saying that till I make it true. Even though I didn't realize that Teresa's like a huge Trump supporter, I just listened to another podcast. I'll plug him here. His name's Tom Hamlet, and his podcast is called Dumpster Dive. And he is hilarious. He's another NYC creator, and he's in Queens also, and he is really funny, and he will talk about politics. He does not give a fuck, and I appreciate that about him because someone's got to say it, and I say it sometimes, but he was talking about how Teresa and how she supports Trump, and I believe it. Anyways, when I went on all that Gretchen rant about how she's such a big Trump supporter and I can't believe people would rather have her back than Tamara, I got a lot of people saying that they loved that for her. There's a lot of Trumps. I mean, that's the world that we live in. So I've realized, like, maybe some of my audience do love Trump, and that's okay. If it's not, it's actually not okay. Okay, anyways, let's get into my top 5 countdown. So those are my OMGs and LOLs of the week. Go watch House of Villains premiere. Candy Muse is one of my favorite villains of all time. She's also on there. I also love Victoria from The Bachelor. I think that she was a great villain choice to be on the show, and I'm interested to see how she gets in the mix with everybody. Safari from Love and Hip Hop, Nicki Minaj's ex. I mean, my jaw dropped. He never had a mention of Erica Mena either, how he was married to her and has children with her. He's just, oh yeah, Nicki's ex. Like, thirsty. Thirsty. And then Wes from The Challenge is there. I met Wes in 2007 with Derek from The Challenge, and there was somebody else there that I can't remember now, in a club in South Padre, Texas, when I was 20 years old. There's a picture somewhere on Facebook. Met Wes once. He was awesome. Okay, anyways, that was OMG and LOL of the week. Let's get right into my top 5 countdown. So this week was a little hard to scrounge some things up. It was a little bit of a slow news week, and the shows on Bravo just are not hitting. The Housewives are having, even though I think this is why they put 4 on at once, because they knew if they only gave us RHONY, we would all be complaining. If they only gave us Potomac, there's no way the network would survive because it's giving nothing. On episode 2 already, and I'm falling asleep and having to restart it twice. My thoughts on Rosie, or the fact that the horse has been beat. It's dead. I need a break. And I've never get like this. Like, I've heard other content creators and podcasters be like, oh my God, it's almost the end of the season. Like, I've had people, be like, I'm not even going to cover the reunion. Like, I cannot even talk about it anymore. And that's where I'm at with Orange County. I'm being gaslit every week into trying to think that Shannon's some good person that we need to root for. I can't. So I'm tapping out of that one this week. And with that being said, we're going to stay, though, over into the realm of the Real Housewives of Potomac. That is my number 5 most talked about moment of the week. Specifically, the storyline with Mia using her paternity with her son, with Gordon, and Ink, the DJ Applebox that she is not with. So apparently Mia and Gordon all of these years, have had a pretty open relationship, and not every marriage is traditional. I'm not judging them on that. What Mia is being judged about is the fact that she got her kids wrapped up in the fact that she had her infidelities. She has not always really known the paternity, or she thinks she does, but she says that there's a possibility that Jeremiah, her son, is not Gordon, her ex's, and it's actually from the affair with Ink, DJ Applebox. So we're not really sure, and this is giving people a lot of people a bad taste in their mouth. They don't like that Mia, everybody was like, messy Mia, like, come, like, they were loving her last season. And they loved when she was throwing her best friend under the bus. They loved when she was, going to bat with some of these ladies for just to what? I don't even know. Like, nothing to me was done that was that iconic. I think the fact that people enjoyed her was because she did have this whole affair, and then she was open about it on camera. And we do appreciate that. That is the makings of a good housewife. So I'm not saying Mia's not a good housewife. She's just not really a good person. And she's getting her kids mixed up in this. And unfortunately, she has talked openly about her kids even seeing her in bed with, when her and Gordon were still married. Like, they physically saw her there cheating. Like, this is messy. This is too messy. This is like when things get too dark on Jersey. This is like when people are getting DUIs and stuff. It's like, I understand that in real life things happen, but I do think some things actually are better to not be on camera, or skew it a little bit in a way where you can talk about this on camera, but not ever reveal, the details, because Jeremiah is going to grow up, and we know that men in general just do not process things right. And I think that this is going to internalize and maybe potentially damage him in the future somehow. So not very happy to see that she's doing that. Now, over on Potomac again, not a lot is going on. Ashley Darby giving us nothing again. She gets away with too much for sharing too much in the past and getting a pass for too many seasons. So I'm not really like loving her, and I'm also not loving that, like, just because her and Giselle decided to do this GNA line, that now she's like professionally tied to Giselle in too many other ways now, where she won't fight with her, because I'm gonna need Ashley to fight with Giselle, because Giselle doesn't need an ally right now. They took Robin off of there because she had an ally too much, and she gets way up in everybody else's business, and then nobody goes back after her, and it's unfair. It's always like just watching like Tyson every season, and that's not a likable character to me. Like, I only like when people are punching when the other person is going to punch back and they can like fight for themselves. I'm going to need everybody to strengthen up over on Potomac and start bringing something else besides Mia's messy paternity storyline. Giselle isolated herself. Like, she's in it to herself. She's back trying to kind of get in the good graces with Wendy. In this latest episode last night, all the girls show up after going to Karen's award ceremony first, and then getting in the Sprinter van and getting over to Giselle and Ashley's thing, because they had the events both the same night. And then Giselle just like kicks everybody out when they get there. It's like, okay, girl. It's like, all right, whatever. You were begging, crying, you wanted them to be there so bad. And then because they weren't there to see your speech, you now won't let them participate. It's like, okay, then you're only going to have Ashley to film with. Good luck. Good luck with that. Okay, so that was my number 4 most talked about moment of the week. Mia being messy over on Potomac. Now, I previously talked shit about Kierna, and I said, Kamiam, we don't need you. But she came back this episode, and I liked her. I liked her hanging out with Kern. I liked their relationship. It was cute. So I actually want her to come back. Even though I don't condone the physical violence. I hate when the housewives fight. So, especially with Deborah. Oh, we need to leave some of these ghosts in the past. All right, number 4, most talked about moment of the week. Moving on, let's check in with Rihanna and her being on the Savage Fenty red carpet yesterday. I don't even know what kind of event that was, actually. But let me see here. The Google is not Googling today. Okay, this is the actual E! News article. So it says, Rihanna's all-time favorite Real Housewife might surprise you. Real Housewives super fan Rihanna revealed which cities are her favorite to watch and unexpected Bravo stars she might love the most. So, okay, it was during Savage X Fenty's exclusive Nordstrom preview celebrating the debut of the lavish lace collection October 10th. That's what the event was. Because I was like, where is this red carpet that she was on talking about housewives? So she said that her favorite housewife of all time, I mean, I'm going to read the actual quote because I am curious what she said. Because I know it's Jenna fucking Lyons. And JFL is one of my favorite housewives too. But I would say of all time, I would say like of the last like 5 years. So I think it's kind of interesting. It says, when it came to the 36-year-old's instant attraction to the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City cast, she explained, because it takes a while to get used to or to know who the characters are really truly, but not the women of Utah. They just knocked it out of the park and you never know what's coming with them. So I think she was kind of put on the spot with that question, because when she said, oh, what do you like about Salt Lake City? She was like, oh, they just had like a really good season and like, they've been solid since day one. That's kind of like a non-answer. I would have loved if she was like, I love, maybe she's trying not to play favorites, if she would have maybe brought up some specific moments that she likes, or just, anything like that. But I kind of get what she's saying, because I've come to realize that I think Salt Lake City is also my favorite franchise. And I realized, okay, now I'm realizing too, I got off track with that, reading that quote, because I was also talking about Jenna Lyons. But it says, okay, as for Rihanna's favorite Real Housewife of all time, Jenna Lyons. I don't want to be generalized, but I love her. So again, doesn't explain why, just says that that's her favorite. So she kind of gave us like some short and mysterious answers about loving Salt Lake City and loving Jenna fucking Lyons. So that's very curious to me. I would like to know more. I would like to know more about what she does like about Jenna. I would love to know more about what she sees in Salt Lake City and like who her favorite people are, and like, or if she was a cast member, like how she would fit in, or like, I don't know. I just want to pick her brain more, I guess. But people are loving that. People were really surprised she said Jenna Lyons was her favorite. I mean, that is kind of random out of someone who's a Real Housewives fan and knows the catalog, to pick someone who's on her second season, basically who's only on her like 12th episode of being a housewife. That's a bold statement. So very controversial, and I just think the fandom like isn't as rooted in the OGs and stuff anymore, and that's what I got from that too. It's not about saying Vicky, it's not about saying Teresa, it's not about being like Kyle Richards. Like, not everybody has to always like give. It's like when people win an award and they have to thank Beyonce. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. Why don't you make the moment and to make it truly about yourself? Like, why are you thanking someone else? I don't know. I think that there can be a little bit of that going on. So yeah, that was my number 4 most talked about moment of the week. Rihanna being on the red carpet talking housewives. My number 3 most talked about moment of the week is also a red carpet. And I don't even remember what that event was either. But basically, I mean, it wasn't the full red carpet interview, but more of the whole general story about what has been going on with Britney. Okay, I think you guys know, if you've been here listening to me every week, like, I'm not a big fan of Britney. I lean more to the Jax side of things. I think Britney, I mean, not to not be a girl's girl, but she repulses me. Her personality and just the way that her brain works, all of the above. Not a fan of her, and whatever. Again, it is what it is. So all of a sudden, a couple of days ago, there's all this shit hitting the fan, where it is reported that Britney has been seen sleeping with, dating, romantically being whatever with, entangled with, this guy Julian Sensley, who is an NBA player who has also been rumored to have hooked up with Lala in the past. So when Jax posted a couple of months ago, oh, why don't you ask Britney, who's been sleeping in her bed for the last 4 months, everybody kind of went back 4 months ago and they connected some dots, and they actually went back and rewatched the Valley, and they spotted Julian in some of the filming sitting next to Brittany, and he was at some of the events. Now, because of the fact that he has reported to have slept with Lala in the past or whatever, I'm not sure like how entangled they were. We never heard about him. I've never heard this guy's name in my life. So the fact that she has had this situation or whatever, maybe he became friends with everybody then though. And obviously Brittany was married back then. So, but from what I remember, I believe Brittany's boyfriend back from her Hooter days in Louisville. And then she met Jax in Vegas. Potentially while she still had this boyfriend. When she met Jax, she knew him from TV, even though she tries to lie. And I hate lying about it. Just be honest, girl. That you and Zach were home on your couch with your mom, Sherry, with the frosted lips, watching Vanderpump Rules every week. And when you went to Vegas and you saw him in the booth, you fucking snagged the man. Just admit it. This is the problem I have with her. Quit trying to act like you're sweet and from the farm and like you didn't know when you've been wanting this. You plotted it. You planned it. You Meghan Markled it. You got it, girl. You got it. That's why you put up with all of that. That's why faith... in the faith of it all and everything, you stayed there and you stayed by your man. For the cameras, for the TV, for the red light, for the money, for the fame. It's okay. You're a fame monster. It drives me nuts. So then anyways, leave it to Brittany to just date her friend's ex. I guess with approval. I mean, whatever, girl code. Now everybody online is like, if your man cheated on you, your whole marriage, then you get to do whatever you want when you're separated. And I'm seeing all these like women empowerment things being like, yeah, Brittany, who cares what Brittany's doing? Who cares that Brittany was still seeing this guy when her and Jax are still married? Because remember, guys, Jax and Brittany just filed for divorce like a couple of days ago. So they've been married this whole time. Separated or not. So she's dating with this guy, sleeping this guy, whatever. It was still during the time that she was married with Jax. Jax has never been confirmed to have cheated on Brittany. Not by Brittany, not by Jax, not saying it hasn't happened. But if he's cheated, we've never known about it since he's been with Faith. He's been faithful in his marriage as far as we know. Now, what's going to come out this season when he goes to rehab and all these things happen? I don't know. I'm not going to eat my words, I hope. But he wasn't cheating on Brittany when they were married. So what are the streets saying? It doesn't make sense to me. So you're never going to make me like her. You're never going to make me get it. I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. So Brittany potentially cheating on Jax with or without his knowledge because they were openly separated at the time or not. And now what I don't understand is Brittany and Jax were both on the red carpet for the Reality TVs of the Year award. Not the awards, but they were being honored, 100 Most or something like that, whatever they were on for the red carpet the other day. Jax and Brittany were both there, and they were said to avoid each other. Kyle Cook was there. Lindsay Hubbard was there. Kyle Richards was there. A bunch of people were there. Brittany on the red carpet said she was just so proud of the show. She was so happy they got a season 2. And she was just going on and on about being proud. Like, she really considers herself to be like an OG of Vanderpump Rules that like built the empire and then also started the Valley. And now I think she has that same trophy on her shoulder of like, look what else I did. Like, now my IMDb credits have 2 things on there. Like, I am a Hollywood woman. And so just the way she was talking about producing the show and stuff, it just really made me think like that the Valley season 1 was pretty much probably all scripted. And when Jax is on the red carpet going, you just put a red light on us and we don't cast things, we don't script things, we're just living our real life. I think that he's lying because Jax is the pathological liar. And I think that a lot of these things that were set up were for camera, including even maybe Jesse and Michelle's relationship also. You know, all of a sudden imploding season 1. Like, I think they both decided to wait to get on camera to then do certain things that maybe had already been decided or, you know, whatever at that point. They kind of dragged it out, I guess to say, to then try to reenact certain things on camera is my suspicion. Because even the stuff, again, with Jesse and Michelle, we know where that is. I can't wait to watch them next season. I can't wait to watch them next season. Remember, we are lollipops. We like Jesse, not Michelle, crying in my car, making TikToks. We're not Team Michelle. We're Team Jesse. Even though, again, I'm trying to keep it positive these days. I don't want to be, if I just went on like a sick rant about Brittany, trying to keep it positive. No, I am. Like, I've talked myself already into, with Potomac, like, not getting too emotionally invested because I just don't have the energy. And just kind of taking that approach with RHONY also and just like having fun with it because I can't fight for these people the way that I fight for some others anymore. I'm just getting tired. Okay, so basically what I was trying to say is that I think Brittany and Jax had been separated or going towards getting divorced for a long time. I think that all of the talk on this first season of The Valley of them were in any possible way working it out, that's why Jax didn't go to the counseling. He's like, Brittany, we're done filming. Like, the scene's over. Oh, you want me to actually do the things that I was saying in the scene? No, the scene's over. Like, this is for the show. And, which makes me scared that he only went to rehab for the show. I mean, you guys, I can admit that he is not a perfect person and pathological and sociopathic. And apparently bipolar, which no shade or shame or anything. It's just that he has not been diagnosed. And we have to remember these things in dealing with these people, that they're not always operating in the realm of like social norm. So we have to kind of like sift through a little bit what's real and what's not. So yes, that was my number 3 most talked about moment of the week. I'm trying to think of like what else I really had to say about that. I just am shocked. I think that they dragged it out, because if she was hanging out with Julian on film and then her and Jax still, even in the very last episode, they weren't even getting divorced then. That just showed Brittany like, okay, I'm gonna move out. And then her like leaving with her suitcase that we know they actually shot like 3 times. So I think that she was actually like, I think they were separating, doing other things, and they were pretending to still like be working on things for the cameras, which is annoying. So yeah, that was that. Let's move on to my number 2 most talked about moment. Okay, my number 2 most talked about moment of the week is going to be over in the RHONY world. And a lot of people are really interested that we're only 2 episodes in and we're getting drama about Rebecca Minkoff and her Scientology past. So we've uncovered a little bit more about her since this came out. And she even reveals in the episode that the Daily Mail was going to be publishing an article about her in proceeds of the season filming and her being part of the RHONY housewives, and all this stuff started coming out. And in the episode, the girls are in the helicopter and Brynn and Jessel are with her. And Brynn takes the bull by the horns. I mean, again, not my favorite person in the world right now, but Brynn is keeping the storyline moving. And she's a K-girl. Like, what do you want us to say if people ask if you're a Scientologist? And she pretty much says, no one's going to hear me anyway, even if I try to tell you. So she's defensive. That sounds like defensive behavior to me. Number 2, she says, then she tries to blame it on the sound of, then she tries to say, oh, but it's because the helicopter's loud, no one's going to hear her. No. Okay, no, hun. Then the second thing that she says is that if the people are really interested anyway, they can just read a book about it and learn about it. And she uses the analogy of, do you want your friends to tell you about the movie that they saw, or do you want to just go see the movie? Almost like it would be a spoiler for her to tell you what it is and not educate you before you go to the church. And that rubbed me the wrong way in many ways, and a lot of other people too were just like kind of creeped out by just her approach and her response to these questions. Because the normal person would say, it's a wonderful church. We accept all different types of people. Come check it out for yourself. Everybody finds their own, journey or meaning in religion. Come and see, what it's like, and just is more inviting. But instead, she's immediately cold, defensive, assuming that the women, whatever, telling people to go read and get educated about it. And also just like assuming too that people are just going to say something negative about it. And it's like, why though? Because unless it is a place that you're like ashamed of or embarrassed of or feeling like weird or that you have to defend yourself about going to, why wouldn't you just like be like, woo, yeah, this is where I go. It's great. Come by. Like, it just was not the normal response that you would expect. And it definitely has people talking and curious and kind of digging up more. And I haven't had a ton of time to do my own research on it, but I definitely know that her father is also involved in the church. And I believe that she's like, there's a lot of ranking. I've heard it be described like the military before, where there are rankings of importance and leadership. And she is supposedly pretty high ranked. So I want to see like what her dad's involvement was and if there's, any true, but it says he's still alive. He owns a clinic in Florida called LifeWorks Wellness Center, which is interesting. Okay, there's a new lawsuit against him. This was just came out September 18th, 2024. This is from Reality Blurb, my fave. And it says, RHONY newbie Rebecca Minkoff's father named in wrongful death lawsuit. When Bravo announced Rebecca Minkoff as a new cast member of RHONY, some fans were shocked. Now, just in time for the RHONY season 15 premiere, her father has been named in a wrongful death lawsuit. It all supposedly links back to the Church of Scientology, and the details are disturbing. The allegations against, oh my gosh, wait, look at this photo of her. She still serves, what are you going to do? All right, Rebecca's father, Dr. David Minkoff, owns a clinic called LifeWorks Wellness Center, which sounds, trust me, I used to work in the chiropractic world, and they're all called that. They're all called like Universal Life Source. So I can just already tell this is going to be interesting. According to Radar Online, David has been added to an ongoing lawsuit involving the suicide of a woman named Whitney Mills. To understand Dr. David, you have to first look into his past. In 1995, he became involved in a case with a woman named Lisa McPherson. She died while under the care of the Church of Scientology. The lawsuit resulted in a $100,000 settlement and Dr. David losing his medical license. Ugh. So how's his clinic still open? So what in the world of housewives and public medical call-outs? Allegedly, he prescribed sedatives over the phone to third-party church staff handling her care. He is said to have never even met her. Okay, so another thing too, if you guys have ever watched on HBO, of course I'm not going to remember the name of it, but it is a documentary about OxyContin, and it teaches you about how many doctors are just basically running like insurance and all kinds of other fraud out of their offices and legally drug dealing. So it's very eye-opening documentary if you want to learn more about that. But it kind of sounds like maybe this wellness center that he was just a fake office where he just prescribes pills. So disgusting to prey on people that are going to a place that literally has the word wellness. Like that's a big thing about it, but LifeWorks Wellness, that is something like whenever you see pain management and stuff like that, that basically means like come here and you're going to get unlimited Oxy, allegedly. So basically this girl did, this Whitney girl, unfortunately, okay, according to the complaint, let's get the facts right here. According to the complaint, LifeWorks diagnosed her with ovarian cysts, Lyme disease complications, and various other conditions. Before her death, she complained about deteriorating mental health symptoms. Her complaints included anxiety, insomnia, hallucinations, and the sensation her skin was burning. Rather than assessing her mental health concerns, the complaint alleges that Dr. David solely focused on her physical ailments and prescribed her a bunch of experimental drugs and herbal remedies. He even allegedly prescribed her ivermectin, which became well known during the coronavirus outbreak as dangerous, unproven remedy. Okay, so this guy sounds like a total wackadoo doctor. Yikes. Okay, so that is that. Maybe I'll link this article in there, but I also get so scared about talking about Scientology. Like, don't kill me. Please, don't come for me. Same with the reason why I'm not doing my Diddy bonus, because all I care about is Beyonce being exposed for being a murderer. And until the justices come, I'm not going to talk about it. Because I think Diddy is just taking the fall for a lot of the stuff that they were doing too. So yeah, that was my number 2 most talked about moment of the week. RHONY, Rebecca Minkoff, all the drama going on there. I mean, that's one of the more juicier real life storylines we have going on Housewives right now. And I'm here for it. I'm living for the development of that story, and there'll be another episode on tomorrow. So we're going to get deeper into it. And okay, so that brings us to our number 1 most talked about moment of the week already. And it is in the Netflix realm over in the Love is Blind world, because my mind has been blown by this season. I'm truly shocked and awed. The men they have procured for this show this year. I mean, I think they're purposely not doing background checks now in hopes that things come out once they get into real life, because there's no way that any of this would have passed. So Steven, I believe, yes, actually, he totally manipulated the process and Monica. But Tyler and Ashley, what's going on over there? Tyler is disgusting. He to me is the low of the scum of the lowest part of the earth and the lowest trench in the ocean. Any man that will have a child and deny them and say that he was just a sperm donor, that is foul. That was so disgusting. And the fact that he knew the camera was on, he knew that this was going to come out, and he knows that one day his children are going to know that his father did not even claim them just so that he could go on a reality TV show is absolutely filthy. I'm disgusted. I need to take a shower after I watch that show. I feel so bad for all of the women that were in the pods this season, except for Hannah. I mean, she kind of has it coming. She is the villain. She is the villain this season. But wow, just wow. I could not believe specifically that moment when I found out that there were 2 layers to this. The first layer was like, okay, this man has 3 kids that he didn't tell anybody about, that he went on the show with, and he didn't whatever. He apparently has never been married. Also, to like never propose to the woman you have 3 children with is also disgusting. Like he's a dog. So he's been out, whatever, living his life in the streets. Now he clearly is a liar because in the first episode too, it says that he's a nuclear security officer. And then you see the moniker changed as time goes on, that he actually is unemployed. So that means that his baby's mother is paying, he probably is way back on child support, which I believe that has now been proven, that he's like $30,000 back in child support, unemployed, goes on this show, lies about having children. Like, he's disgusting. And then, of course, manipulates a woman into falling in love with him. And then he's telling her, like, what about having, like, 7 kids? And that is also sick. Like, you don't tell a woman that, first of all, that you even want them to be the mother of your children unless you are in love with them. And that messes with a woman's head so much. Like, the course of an entire woman's life could be changed by someone telling them that they want to have a baby with them. And then the next part of that is like when a man decides to inside of a woman, then that's the second thing of that girl then now thinks, wow, like he finds me worthy enough. He's willing that if this does happen, like he obviously thinks he wants me around in his life for the rest of his life. And that messes with a woman's psyche so bad. So this girl's already planning about having children with this kid. And then he said 7 kids. And that's because he's already got 3 at home. So she wants 4 of her own. She's got to be cool with having 7 kids. And she doesn't know what she's agreeing to. So this man has got me fucked up. And I'm really, really mad at him. Now, let's switch gears over into Steven and Monica because she handled her situation so well. Steven goes to a sleep test. Okay, because all these men be snoring and be these beasts at night. And if you're going to be a married woman and you're going to sleep in bed with your man, you're like, okay, we're working on this. We got to get you like mouth tape. We got to do something. So I believe that he was sent to this sleep test probably because he moved in with Monica and she's like, I'm not getting any sleep. We need to get you fit for a mouth guard and all this stuff. I went through the same thing with my husband. And now he uses that mouth guard every night and we sleep like babies. Probably saved our marriage before we were even married. And so he goes to the sleep test though. And the whole time that he's there, he's texting an ex that he's been known to be explicitly sexual with. And ladies, if you know what it's like to have a man that has never dated you, committed you, taken you on a date even, but loves to with you and have you over and all this stuff, you know what this is like. So you could tell that this wasn't like an ex that he wanted to marry. This is an ex that he just hooks up with, gets nudes from, messes around with, which again, so disgusting. That's like so juvenile to me. If you are over the age of, I don't know, I would like to say 25 or something, which even is giving them, I think, a long time to get it out of their system. Like, you don't need to be, we are not your, like, personal porn stars. We are not your personal, like, whores. To lack of a better word, like, you're not paying me. Don't be requesting me for things that you want to see about me or want me to do. Absolutely not. So, I can't. He's in the sleep test. He's texting this girl. Monica finds out about it, which I can't even remember now. I blacked out, I think, when she was telling him. how she found out about the text messages. Oh no, she said he went to the bathroom and his phone started ringing and they were waiting for a delivery or something. So she picked his phone up, and in the text right below that, she saw the messages. And they were disgusting, and we've all been there. Ladies, am I right? Not to quote Danny Pellegrino, but ladies, am I right? I've been there. I know all my friends have been there, where at some point you pick up your man's phone and there's some other girl's name in there. And your heart just sinks. You want to throw up. You want to cry. You want to scream. You just want to shake them, because it's like it's so easily avoidable. And no matter how much you kick and scream and say your self-worth, and I'm not going to put up with this, and I'm not going to allow this, they still will do it. That doesn't put the fear in them not to do it. They just know, okay, if I do it, then she's going to break up with me. And if they don't, like Steven knew that. He was like, if she were to ever know, like, it would just be over. And he was okay with just throwing away their whole future over getting some sex. So obviously it just shows that he wasn't the right guy for her, and she dodged a bullet. But then in that moment, again, another man without a job, another man who was working in the union, lost his job because he went on the show, doesn't have a job now. She says, okay, no worry, babe, I got you. And then pays for him for days and days of him not working, groceries, all these things. As soon as he breaks up, they break up, and he's like, okay, I'm going to leave. She's like, yeah, you can get your phone out before you leave, and you can Venmo me for the last few days of all the money I've been giving you to support your ass. I mean, that was on her feet thinking. I don't know if I would have thought of that in the moment, because I think I would have been like, just knowing myself, I would have been too much of a victim in that moment to be asking for money. I don't know. I would be like mourning the loss of the wedding and stuff in that moment, not thinking about the money, but I'm glad she was. Glad she was. So yeah, besides that, besides Tyler and Steven's asses, Nick is growing on me. They showed Nick's parents in this last episode, and I think America fell in love with Nick's family. He actually seems like a good kid. Like I said, Hannah, I think, is the villain in this situation, and she seems to have two sides to her. I think she has the side of her that wants to be liked by people, and then she has her real authentic self. So I'm still deciphering when real Hannah is there on screen and when it's not the real Hannah. Just by her activity on social media, I'm going to say that they're not together anymore, Hannah and Nick. I just have a sneaking suspicion that they do not get married at the altar. So we will see. And yeah, that was pretty much it, you guys. That was I tried to squeeze this episode out quick for you guys before I leave this week to go out to Vegas and be my best emo girly this weekend. Please pray that there's a Bravo celebrity at this emo fest. I think that would be so fun. And I will keep you guys posted on everything else, whether or not I'm on Watch What Happens Live, doing the virtual caller with Uba, or just any of these other things going on. I will be in touch with you, and I will see you all next week. Please go rate, review, give me 5 stars, leave me a comment. Go follow me on TikTok. Get your phone out right now. And yeah, if there's ever a TV show or anything that you guys want me to cover that I've never watched that you think I'm going to enjoy, I didn't talk about Golden Bachelorette this week. I'm going to give you guys a break, but continue to watch. Married at First Sight is starting on Lifetime again next Tuesday. Go watch. There is a matchmaking special. So again, Love is Blind. You guys think Love is Blind is intense. Imagine if it was Love is Blind, but then they get married the second they see each other. Okay, they don't get to have the 2 weeks of living alone without being married. So I'm Married at First Sight. They meet at the altar. They get married right away. Then they move in together, and it unleashes from there. And this year is rumored that 2 couples will swap partners, and that has never happened in history. So go watch. All right, love you guys. Have a great day. Have a great week. Bye.